All right, welcome back to J2J Podcast.
Yes, sir. Hey, bro.
Huh,
Remember you were once homeless?
bro, but you were there too.
Oh, shit. You're right.
Bro, let me paint you a picture.
Mm-hmm.
Two 16-year-olds
Mm-hmm.
walking 9 hours straight. Cold night. Overnight.
Yeah.
They embark on their journey
Mm.
at like 1 or 2 a.m. They go from the river, which is downtown area, to the suburbs. We're talking about a 9-hour walk.
Yeah.
They're walking alone, no service.
Okay.
So basically no phones. Because their phones were dying anyways. Nothing's open. Homeless people trying to get their attention.
Mm-hmm.
They have no one to call, nowhere to go.
Okay.
Would you believe me if I said that was me?
Well, yeah, guys, it was us. Matter of fact.
How'd you feel?
I was scared, bro. No, yeah, bro. And that's just one story. That's so many stories
But today we're telling this story.
about two young bucks
Two young bucks.
embarking a journey back home.
So basically, we were left stranded.
Mm-hmm.
We had no service. I don't know what phones we had. Maybe we had iPhone 6s.
The legendary 6. Yes, sir.
Yup. I know that I think our phones were dying.
Yeah, I think mine was there in general.
The biggest rookie mistake, no chargers.
Mm-hmm. And no service.
No service. Yep. We got dropped off
Yep.
by someone who said they were going to pick us up.
Yeah.
He never came back.
He disappeared. I don't know where he went, actually. Yeah, it was tough. Yeah, I remember it started off when we looked at the time. I was like, damn, it's 12:30 already. And
He never-
I look at you, I'm like, bro. And you're like, yeah. Should we call our ride so he could come soon?
We didn't even have his number.
Right. Yeah, we did.
We did?
We did, but we found the place where we at had some Wi-Fi, and we had the application text now.
Text now. If you know text now, shout out.
Yeah. Don't ask why we had no service. I don't know.
Broke. Just broke.
Yeah.
We were homeless for a reason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How are we going to have phone service and stuff like that? Who's going to pay for that?
Yeah.
You know?
And anyways.
So, like, we saw 2 a.m. and we were like, yo, it's getting way too late. We've been out here for, like, waiting for this person to pick us up for, like, 2 hours. Yeah, 2 hours, bro.
Yeah, it was 2 hours.
Yeah, I remember. And we were getting anxious and, like, you know, like, desperate. Like, we were, like, doing how we're going to get home. Who's going to take us home? I didn't know where we were at, kind of. You knew a little bit more than me.
Yeah, because I used to live in the area, so I was kind of familiar. But, bro, at the end of the day, it was 2 a.m. and you're out close to downtown.
And you're like,
And
how old?
yeah,
15, 16, like,
We're young.
who you gonna, like, you know?
No phones. No
Everyone's sleeping. So we just decide to walk.
Yeah.
And I just know downtown is close. Go down the street, downtown's there.
Mm-hmm.
Go to downtown, take a left, and just walk straight towards west.
Bro, you know what I realized?
Huh.
We didn't have to go through that.
That's what I'm saying. This is why we tell the story.
I think I started thinking back to that story, and I think we took a long ass way.
The longest way ever. We could have went through the other way, you know?
Yeah.
Probably took you know, that one street,
Yeah.
and then it would have just been straight ahead. But instead we go through downtown where all the homeless people are at, go into weird places, like weird streets in the dark, and took the long way around, bro. That was stupid. But we had no choice. But when you really think about it's so funny because we walked a total of like 9 hours or 8 hours or something.
Was it that crazy? It was a long time though, that's for sure. Cause my legs are cooked,
Bro. And if you guys want to know how this ends, keep listening. It gets crazier.
Oh, yeah.
So basically, we embark on our journey and we're just walking and walking. And at first, obviously it starts off okay. Okay, we'll be home at no time. We had no home at the time. So that's the twist.
You know, yeah.
There was nowhere to go.
Yeah.
And if we did have a place to go, it was far. So we were just like, yep, we're just gonna keep walking and see where we get. We just know we'll get there.
Yeah.
So we started walking. We got so tired, so dehydrated, so hungry. No sleep. We didn't sleep for like 2 days.
Oh, yeah. Those times were weird. Because think about it. It was like, what, middle of the summer?
Mm-hmm.
At night here in Omaha, it gets pretty chilly. I mean, just in general, I think anywhere it gets chilly at 1, 2 a.m.
At night, yeah.
And all we had was fucking, regular shoes. I think we had, I don't even know what kind of shoes.
Probably forces.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, probably.
Forces.
And, I don't think we even had, like, sweaters or anything on. We just, like, fuck it, full send. We're just going to keep walking, and hopefully we make it. Anyway, so we go. I don't know for those that are local here, obviously. You might know we're downtown in that Leavenworth Street where, where the prison's by, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's where we walk by. Start walking by, and at first we're like, it's not that bad.
It's not that bad. We'll get there.
But first thing first, there's over there a guy. Hey, you have a lighter? I was like, yo.
Yo, and this is like barely like mile 1 into the trip.
You were like, yo. I'm like,
bro, don't look. Don't look, bro.
And he did. That's the thing you did to me.
That's my number 1 rule. Don't look.
And the guy asked it. I think the guy kept going, hey, yo.
No, he screamed. He was like, hey.
And then I think he just wanted to like, but
yeah, he left.
Yeah, probably. He probably like, what the fuck is wrong with these?
He's like, dude, these dudes, they keep walking straight. They don't look nowhere. They're NPCs.
They thought we were like, at that point, we were probably the homeless people.
Well, we basically were, because there's a context to the story. Like, we went a week just like homeless. Like,
yeah.
It was maybe that's a story for another time.
Yeah.
This story is about the journey of homelessness. So anyways, so we weren't homeless like the people that you see under the bridge, thank God. Oh, like, no offense, but we weren't like at that point. We were not at that point. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, we weren't like living under a bridge type stuff.
Yeah.
We just like didn't really have a set place to like sleep, stuff like that. Yeah. Well, we did, but like I said, it was far as heck, and we had no transportation. We have no cellular service. We had no. We're not the type of people that just ask a bunch of people like, oh, give me a ride, blah blah. Like,
Well, yeah, we couldn't, bro. We didn't have a phone.
We were the type of people that just walk.
Right.
Like, I'd rather walk than ask a stranger, give me a ride home.
Right.
And then at the time, we didn't know about Uber, none of that. Like, this was a long time ago, maybe. But yeah, there was that guy who yelled out, hey, and I remember that once we got more into downtown, it started getting a little bit more sketch too. We started seeing more people walk by, like weird people.
But I mean, maybe because we were young, I thought it was like weird. We're like, it's weird, it's sketchy as fuck. But I mean, who wouldn't? To be honest, at the time, you never know, we could get jumped. I mean, we didn't have shit on us.
We had nothing. We didn't have nothing to defend ourselves.
But then I also thought, I'm like, it's 2 against 1. What the fuck happened?
Yeah, that's all we thought about was it's always gonna be 2 against 1 unless like a whole group of people come.
Yeah, then we're full sprint.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was always our number 1 rule. Like, if some problem pops up, run.
Just run. Don't look back.
Run. Don't look back.
Yeah, but
and we end up running.
Yeah.
Later on in the story, we end up running.
We'll get there. So we get to a point where we're at the bridge. So there's a bridge, the highway's under.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom. And we're like, oh, damn. So for some reason, I'm like, damn. You can start seeing the sunrise, bro. But it's not like the sunrise.
You see the horizon.
It's
light.
like, but it's still dark.
Yeah.
It's still really dark because it's like, 4 a.m. still. So we're like, damn, it's 4 a.m. And we're barely, not even halfway yet.
Not even.
We crossed the bridge, started kicking rocks, do the little steps, You know how the lines of the
When you know the lines in the concrete of the sidewalk, you just try to not touch them and stuff like that.
you start counting your stats.
You-
You're like, we're ahead of our times. We're counting our own stats before Apple Watches and shit.
Exactly. We were. You know what? We were doing fitness.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. Fucking sweaty, cold at the same time.
That was bad.
Yeah, it was
We
really
could have gotten so sick.
We didn't get sick. So yeah, we cross the bridge, right? For those that know where that store, what is that store called?
Imaginarium.
No. No, the fucking supermarket place. But supermercado.
Oh, Supermercado on
We
Leavenworth.
stop. Yeah,
That one.
we get to that point, right?
Okay.
Obviously, it's fucking closed, so
Yeah.
you know, can't do nothing about it.
Yeah, everything's closed. So everything.
Because if it was open, we could have. Hey, can we borrow?
Yeah, if something was open, we could have just went inside and called.
Yeah.
And I know some people will say, "Oh, but gas stations." Dude, all the gas stations in our journey were the
In that area.
mom and pop gas stations.
Yeah, in those areas were usually always closed.
This is what we mean we went the wrong way, basically, when we think about it.
Yeah.
This is what we
Damn. Kind of stupid.
we're kind of stupid, but you see, we live on to tell the story.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we did get to that part, and that's when I felt a little bit more like, okay, we're halfway. You know what I mean?
And we weren't.
Started telling myself, bro, we're halfway.
Mhm.
You know, the sun started coming up at that time, I think.
Yeah.
For sure. And once that sun came up, you're like, dang, I have not slept.
You hear the little birds.
Oh my, you hear the birds, you could smell the grass, you know, stuff like that.
And at that point of the morning, or at that point of our walk, we're just past, we're past already the store. We're getting into like the neighborhoods
Mm-hmm.
in this area. And I swear we started losing. I swear I swear we didn't do drugs at the time. Yeah.
No, we
But-
weren't on no sort of anything. We were
Okay.
just sleep deprived to the max.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think we started hallucinating, like we started tripping. Like for example, we were walking and I kept hearing somebody like yelling at us. But I would ask you and you'd be like, "No,
Oh yeah, you kept.
no one's fucking yelling at us."
You kept turning. Hey, bro, you hear that? I'm like,
No way.
nah. But there was a point where I swear, bro, there was someone across the street.
No,
And
yeah.
I think he was someone. There was someone there. There had to be.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just walking or, chilling there.
Mm.
And then next you know, I swear I saw him crossing the street and I didn't see him anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just hear the little crunches from the leaves and shit. And you just hear, we're like, what the fuck is that? Bro, I kid you not. We start fucking running.
I remember I looked behind me and I'm gonna be so real with you. I didn't see anything. But just the fact that you were scared made me scared. So we booked it. Like we used every inch of our energy to sprint.
Yeah.
We were sprinting like track stars down the whole blocks. We turned the right at the end of the block and we kept sprinting. Like we sprinted, never looked back.
Yeah.
And then we got to this point where we kind of got to a main street and we stopped, looked around. Nobody. And that's when I was like, yo,
We look at each other and we're like, bro,
we're losing our shit. We're losing our shit because there's no way. And plus, it was like 7 a.m. Maybe, right? 6
I
a.m.?
think it was like 6.
So the sun was up because it's summer and the sun comes up early.
Mm-hmm.
And the sun was up. And I was also in my head, I'm like, boy, it's broad daylight. Who would just try to like attack us, in broad daylight,
Yeah.
And we're just like, we look at each other, we're like, dude, we lost ourselves. We're tripping. Like, it's 2 days without sleep. So,
Yeah.
what's that one thing? Insomnia?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that when you, like, don't sleep? And
Oh, that's you can't sleep and shit, yeah. But I think there's another word to it, but...
There's another word, yeah. Another term where, like, when you don't sleep, you kind of start, like, tripping a little bit and start seeing stuff. And
All right, so let's look back what checkpoint we're at now. So we're past, the streets, weird streets, shadow people. So now we get to childhood land area.
The area where we grew up, yeah.
Yeah, because we stop in the area where we grew up, in apartments, right? And it's not your, the best.
They're not nice apartments. They're bad.
Yeah.
It was horrible times, horrible memories, horrible life.
Yeah, so Trump.
So it's not being ungrateful, but
But
bad
it was
vibes.
not the best living. Well,
Both of us.
at least when we were young, we didn't think.
When we were young, we didn't feel it. But that's for another story.
Yeah. Anyways, we get to that point, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, finally, I think this is half point. We're finally, that's like checkpoint, halfway there. And then this guy pulls out his phone.
Who?
You.
Oh, me.
And he wants to start vlogging this shit.
I started vlogging before vlogging was a thing, I swear. Wait,
And
we're not that old. So probably the whole world was vlogging.
anyways, he started vlogging. I remember he pulls out his phone. He starts recording. And his phone was like maybe 10% left.
Yeah.
And my shit was dead already.
iPhone 6, horrible quality.
I wish we had those clips.
That same phone was iPhone 6 that was burnt, bent, and cracked.
Yeah.
Bent. Like it was bent like a banana.
Yeah. What the...
And I still used it. That was my only phone. Like I had no service unless I had Wi-Fi. And I started recording the street signs.
Yeah.
I recorded like, okay, we're at this street or blah blah blah. And I have no idea why. Like I just pulled out my phone. I was like, dude, we should start recording.
Right.
We should start showing what we're doing or recording what we're doing right now. This journey. Like it's so crazy because we must have been Lewis and Clark. You know who Lewis and Clark is? But anyways,
You're right.
I did start recording.
Yeah.
And just recording street by street where we're at, how we feeling. And this is once after we passed these apartments. I remember we passed these apartments and nostalgia hit too, because you're just like, fuck, like we grew up in these horrible apartments with these horrible lives, and now we're here.
Almost like reliving, but
Almost
not
like reminiscing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We got past that, and then we finally start getting to the neighborhood where we know more, like where we know the house we're getting to is at. Finally,
And we had choices. I started realizing we did have choices, but part of us, we're young. We want to get in trouble,
when you're young, you just try to hide what you're doing. Like you try not to get caught
especially by family.
by family. We were more scared of family than we were of the cops or anything. You know what I mean?
But like we had choices. We had multiple choices. We're like, hey,
We could go to
take
this
a
house.
left.
We could go to this house.
We could go
Like,
here to go this house.
My tia lives here. Your tia lives there. Everybody lives here. Like this neighborhood, all our families there.
And
But
then
now we're like, are we just gonna pull up and knock on their door at freaking
7?
They're not even awake, and we're gonna be looking like dumbasses. Like we're all sweaty.
Yeah.
Like we all look like we just came back from freaking who knows what. You know?
You can't only imagine how we smell. I don't know if you guys have that smell where your parents always say, you smell like outside. What the hell?
Yeah, they smell like the outdoors and all
You
this
look
stuff.
like you guys been outside for a long time. I'm like, well, ma'am, get ready for this. Anyways, but yeah, we had the choices, and we're like, no, we're this far. We gotta go all the way to where we need to be.
Guys, the goal was to get to my uncle's house. We had so much family in the area. All of our family. I'm talking about aunts, uncles, grandparents, everything. We end up in our friend's backyard. Out of all the places, and we get caught. Let's
retract a little bit, bro. I need to talk about that. So we're literally there. We're home. I'm sorry. We're home. Basically home. We're where we need to be.
We're what we call home at the time.
Get to go right. Now we go left and go to the friend's home, the homie's house.
For some reason,
and we don't even go to a homie to say, "Hey, what's up?" or knock on his window or something. We go to the backyard and sit on the ground and start contemplating life.
And knock the fuck.
And we fell asleep for I want to say a good 15 minutes.
And I'm talking about knock the heck out.
Like we're on our knees, folded up to our chest, knocked out. Our hands in our shirts, shivering.
In his backyard.
And then his dad, or I think it was his dad, comes out. And he's like, hey. And we fucking get up and fucking start running.
We start running.
Fences, jumping. And,
the most embarrassing moment.
And the thing is, the guy knows. Oh my God.
The dad knows us.
He knows us. So he's like,
it's not like we're thieves or anything.
It's not like he was gonna be like, he was gonna tell us, and he's like, he probably would question why you guys here this early or what's happening.
But obviously he's like probably mad because like
It's weird.
what the heck are you guys doing? Like you're sleeping on my backyard. Like there's no like what's going
There's
on?
no reason for us to be there. That's the thing. Anyway, we start hopping over shit.
Start running, booking it for like the second time in this journey. We're running,
We're dead.
and then we finally get to our destination.
And I think we held back too, because at that time, I think our tia was going to work. We just needed her to leave.
Yeah, or else we're gonna get in trouble.
And we waited a little longer, and we saw her car finally pull out. And that's when finally we were coming down. I feel like if you ever get took drugs, this is like the coming down of that.
This is like the moment we're like, oh,
Relieved,
relieved.
you're drained, you're tired, you just want to get in there. As soon as we knock on our cousin's door, and he comes up to us, like, what the fuck you guys doing? We're like, bro, don't talk to me.
Don't ask. And we just went to the couch
And start chugging water like crazy.
knocked the heck out. Like knocked out. After that, I remember we slept for like 2 days straight.
We slept long.
Like we just kept sleeping. Like after that, like we were so tired. This journey, when you think back to it now that we're adults and stuff,
Yeah.
it's so unnecessary. So unnecessary.
Yeah.
But just moments like that though, bro, kind of like that's how you live life, you know?
Oh yeah.
But we went through so many trials and tribulations on that journey. And there's probably more details that we left out, you know? But when you're just walking, you just, like, you get into the state of mind where you're just walking straight and that's it. You're not thinking about anything. You're not looking around. You're just walking like like a heartless human being. Or no, a spiritless. I don't know how it's called.
Yeah,
You know, like a zombie. We were basically zombies at one point.
And like we had during that journey, I feel like we learned a lot for some odd reason.
So much.
You start being a little grateful now. You know how we have cars and shit now, so get it one place A to A, like that. Nothing. Not only that, you start thinking, okay, happy I have a car. And then you start reminiscing, like we were reminiscing about our childhood when we walked in that area.
Yeah.
And you pause for a second and you start realizing, like, I don't know. I just felt some type of joy.
Yeah, you feel joy.
You're like, damn. I'm
You
happy
feel
that
grateful.
happened. Like, I'm happy I went through it, even though it sucked. I mean, it could have been worse, obviously.
Way worse.
But,
Thank God. You know, it's just like there was moments where we could have broke. There's moments where we could have just like fell to our knees and say, bro, I don't want to do this no more. I hate this.
Definitely.
You know, but we just kept persevering through. And like it's just crazy how we come from that and now we're here, how life changes and stuff like that, you know. But you just learn so much about each other and yourself during those times, and then you also learn to not do dumb stuff, like to not like.
But I feel like you got to do the shit like that to like actually learn though.
Yeah,
and that's why I think that's why we're telling this story.
That was just our childhood, you know. Like when I have actually told this story to a lot of friends. You have too, probably.
Many might have heard this,
and a lot of friends always like this story because it's like. So like what the frick, bro? Like what the heck were you guys doing? Blah blah. That's just kind of the kids we were. And if anyone's asking like, oh well, why didn't you just go to your uncle's house, or you just said you had a whole bunch of family in the area? That's why. You know what I mean? We were kind of seen as the kids that were always like on the street.
Street kids, basically.
Yeah, we were basically street kids.
Or like Hispanics say callejeros.
We're like vagos, right? That's what we call them. Yeah, like. That's just kind of how they saw us, and we didn't want to knock on their door and just give them another opportunity to be like, oh God, what the heck, you know? And then the whole family's talking about it, how we're doing this again, and we're walking alone, and then they're gonna talk down on our parent, you know? And that's just the life we lived. And so there's many stories like this. Like we didn't just walk this one time and that was it. We walked everywhere.
Oh yeah,
like everywhere. From middle school, even in 6th grade, we were already walking.
Bro, we started walking when we were little kids, bro. If you really think about it.
Wait, what's that one thing that goes like before you crawl, you gotta no, before you walk, you gotta crawl. Before you crawl, you gotta something. You always used to say it.
That one song.
You used to always say it, bro.
Before you fly,
Before you fly, you gotta walk. Before you walk, you gotta crawl. Before you crawl, you gotta be bored. You'd always say this. I don't remember how it went, but
well, guys,
brief story.